Welcome to one more installment of the Jones College of Business Tech Tips. This week, I'm going to introduce you to some very helpful tips in Excel. This is the second installment on Excel tips. So we're going to see four things. First one, flash fields or Control E, that's the shortcut. How to justify long text. How to get data from web pages or PDF. And how to get data multiple Excel files from folder. So let's go start.
Number one, flash fill. In Excel, you can use flash fill to complete data entry in very simple way. So here is the example. For example, we have Carlos Coronel right there. I can type Carlos space Coronel. You see that? One word. Email, I can say carlos.coronel@mtsu.edu. And as you can see, we have two things in here. I can press Control E and Control E, and it automatically completes the data entry based on what you type in the previous cells. You see that? So that's how flash fill works, Control E. Another example for the same is you have a date, 3/28/22, and you say month is 3, this is 28, and this is 2022. And in here you can press Control E, Control E, Control E, and it automatically breaks the day apart. And you can do the reverse. You can have month, day, year, and just enter the first cells and press Control E, and it will complete the date entry based on the example that you provided. Similarly here, you got some emails, and you can put in here some data completion. For example, I just want the user ID. So you say CC2X, and then I'm gonna hit enter, but then I'm gonna press Control E, and it automatically extracts just the first part that will be the user ID, and it completes that. So that's a simple way that you can work with flash fill or Control E. Finally, we have some courses in here. I'm gonna say INFS 2200, and I press Control E, and look, it will complete the rest for me. And this is section D01, and based on that example, it will complete the rest. One thing that you will notice in here is that because 001 is actually a value, it puts 1 instead of 001. That's one caveat. Another caveat that you have to be careful is notice that these names have one entry in the cell, Coronel Carlos Cameron Collins. If you have somebody that is called, for example, Steve Miller Brown, it won't work. This will be empty. So that's just to give you a heads up. Now, another example, and this is very handy when you're trying to build your course schedule, is using this feature right here to complete the weekdays. For example, today, the shortcut to enter today is Control semicolon, and it enters that day. Then you can actually, normally what you will do is you drag this down and it adds 1 to the day, 21, 22, 23, you can see until 30. That's fine and dandy, but if you're building your class schedule, you don't have classes on Saturdays and Sundays, for example. Or you can do this is you can right click in the date, bring the autofill button and drag it down, and then release, and it will give you a series of options in here. And I wanna, for example, only fill weekdays, and as you can see now, these are weekdays. How you can confirm? Well, I can say equal to this date, and here I cannot display the name. Now, to display the name, sometimes you might use a formula, but a simpler way is to go to Format Cells right here. You can select Custom, and that's the default date format. I can remove this and just type, for example, move it right here, D, and it shows 21. D, it shows 21. D, it shows Monday. What about one more? That's it. 4D will display the day. So now that I have that in there, I know that this is a Monday. I can move in the autofill square right here, double click, and it automatically fills the range, the same formula everywhere, and keeping the formatting that is showing the date. So this is flash fill. Justify. Sometimes you have a long text in a cell, but you just wanted to occupy just a couple of cells down. For example, you want to do it right here. Sometimes what you do is you actually merge a bunch of cells to fill the text in those cells. Another way is you select the range of cells that you want. To do that, you highlight the cells, select the range that you want to put the text on, and then go to Field Justified. And voila. This way, you still have multiple cells, but the text is wrapped around in the range of cells that you selected. Finally, import. You want to import data from the web or from a PDF and also from folders. So let's go do this. The first one is we're going to import data from the website. So we're going to go to Data, Get Data. In here, we're going to say From Web. You see that? Get Data from Web. The first thing that it's going to ask you is an URL. And we do have an URL here. We have this table with a bunch of stocks. So I copy this URL, go back to Excel, and enter the URL in here. Press OK. Excel will automatically use a new feature that is called Power Query to make a connection to this URL, and it shows you the data that is in there. Now, here is the powerful part of this. In this navigator screen, you can select what table to import. The document is basically text, and here are the tables, and this is what you want to import. So I click on Load, and you will see the Power Query runs in the background, establish the connection, and pulls the data. And then you have the data in Excel. Now, something important to understand is that this connection is live. So if you refresh the query later on, it will get the updated data. Now, let's go import from PDF now. And in PDF, you're going to go to Data, Get Data, From File, From PDF, and go, in my case, I got a PDF that is here. Top 2000 value companies with ticker symbols. Now, it's not 2000. We're just going to do the first page. You see, this particular PDF has hundreds of pages. So I'm just going to select page 1, and that contains the table that I want. Click on Load again. And similarly, Excel will execute Power Query to run that data and retrieve the information. And it's live again. Okay? So we are here. When you say refresh, it will get to all the sources and import the data. So that's how to import data from either a PDF or from the website. Finally, we're going to learn how to import multiple Excel files and combine it in a single one. And that's from folders. So you go to Data, Get Data, From File, and select From Folder. Here, you point to a folder that contains the data. Now, here is important thing to understand. In this folder, I got sales data from 3 different years in 3 different Excel files that are formatted the same. So I'm going to say that's the folder. Excel tells me there are 3 files, and that's what you want to combine. So I'm going to say Combine and Load. And what that does, it generates a connection and imports, reads the data, and it says I have to give it a sample file to know what data to export of each one of those files. So I want to import this data. It has an order number, order date, etc., etc. Say, okay. So what it's going to do in Excel at this time is going to go to Excel, and it's going to run the query, and it's going to import the data. But it's going to combine it in a single file. Remember, we had 3 original files in here. In the Excel file, here is the data, the original data. On the sales folder, there are 2016, 17, and 18. Now, we have a single Excel file with all the respective columns. They are all formatted the same, except that when you import, it adds the source in here. So that's the year 2016. You scroll down, and you're going to find all the 2017. Right there is the 2017. You keep scrolling down and find the 2018 sales, as you can see there. So that's how you import and combine multiple Excel files in a single operation. And again, this is a live operation in Excel using queries and connection, the Power Query feature of Excel. I hope you enjoyed this particular tech tip. If you have any question, please call me. This concludes this presentation.